Welcome to the tutorial, How to Get ABA. This tutorial is written for those in Grays Harbor, Mason, or Pacific counties in Washington State. The information may be helpful for anyone learning about the process of applying for ABA services. Information presented is current as of January 2017. Please be aware this information can change at any time due to the nature of these changing systems. Before we begin, make sure you have your supplies. You can print the template off the tutorial website or use your own blank paper and the template as a guide. As you listen to the tutorial, you may pause it at any time or back it up if you miss something. By the end of this tutorial, you should be able to answer these questions. Why is ABA hard to find? And what do I need to do to get ABA services? Grab your pen. Here we go. So, why is ABA hard to find? If you live in a rural county in Washington State, it's likely your town does not have an ABA provider. Why is this? The short answer is, there are not enough providers. Let's look at the need for ABA service providers statewide. In Washington State alone, there's a wait list of over 30,000 children waiting for ABA services. That's right, 30,000. Most ABA providers are in big cities and do not or cannot serve areas that are long driving distances from their clinics. While the number of providers is increasing, there are still not enough providers to meet the need. So are there any clinics who serve our rural counties? Can I even get ABA services? The answer is maybe. Clients are chosen off a wait list. When they are chosen, it is because a therapist is available in the child's location and the child is available at the same time as the therapist's time slot. There are other factors considered as well, such as if the child's insurance requirements are up to date and how many other children meet the same criteria as your child. Right now, a company working on establishing services in Grays Harbor area is Basics Northwest. This is an ABA company in Lacey, Washington. They have a wait list as well. There are actually 500 kids on it. Their vision is to reach small counties like ours, and though there is not yet an established clinic in our area, there have been a few clients serviced in the last few years. Why should my child get on a wait list? For one, getting on your county's wait list increases your chances of getting ABA services when they are available. It's important to be ready so you don't miss the boat. When there is an available therapist, clients are not selected in order. They're selected according to many factors, such as the family's weekly available hours for therapy and the therapist's available hours. The more flexible your schedule is, the more likely it is to fit in an opening on an ABA provider schedule. How much time does ABA take? Many times, therapy requires availability 3 to 5 days out of the week for a total of about 15 to 20 hours a week. This is about 3 to 5 hour sessions at a time. When a therapist becomes available, it's important your paperwork is up to date, so you still qualify. Why get on a wait list? If you are on the wait list and have the required documentation, your chances are higher than if you are not on any wait list at all. It is possible a new clinic or individual ABA provider will become available. If this is the case, you will be glad you were prepared with the current documentation and schedule availability. Here are the basic steps required to get ABA services. Write these down, as they will be on the quiz after this video. Ask, plan, and update. What do these mean? The first step is to ask questions. Contact the child's insurance company and ask if they cover ABA. Say, "Do you cover ABA services?" What are the criteria for my child to receive ABA services? A lot of insurance providers, such as Regions and Medicaid, require an autism diagnosis and an ABA prescription or ABA recommendation in order to cover ABA services. Others, such as Premera, only require an autism diagnosis. Each insurance company is different. Some insurances cover services for conditions besides autism, such as Down syndrome or ODD. Be sure to ask in case these differences apply to your child. Never assume what you read online or hear from others is accurate. Always call and specifically ask what needs to be done for your child to get ABA. Here's a list of potential questions you can specifically ask. Do I need an ABA recommendation by a qualified physician for my child to get ABA? Do I need an ABA prescription written to get ABA? How do I get an ABA prescription? Does my child need to be diagnosed and referred for ABA from a center of excellence? Does my child's diagnosis or ABA referral prescription need to be renewed for continued ABA qualification? How often does it need to be renewed? Also, contact Basics Northwest or any other ABA providers you know who may serve our counties. Ask them, do you take my child's insurance? What insurance do you take? Do you serve my county? Do you have a wait list I can get on? How many hours a week do I need to have available for ABA in your company? What are co-pays for me here? Are there any forms I need to fill out? Is there anything I can do while waiting? Do you offer any workshops for me or classes my child can attend? Also, ask, what are my co-pays per ABA session? It's good to know how much your insurance will pay for, so you can prepare your monthly budget. Call your insurance company and ask them, what are my out-of-pocket expenses for ABA? Sometimes there's no copay required, and many times there is. You can only be sure if you ask. Remember, many copays are per session or per hour. Do the math and determine how much a month it will cost you for 3 to 5 3-hour sessions a week. This will give you an estimate of your costs. Be sure to keep the notes you take, as they may come in handy. So far, we have learned there is a wait list because there are not enough therapists. It is important you get on a wait list to increase your chances of getting services when they become available. It is critical to ask your insurance company and ABA provider questions about their ABA coverage and availability for services. Once you have asked questions, then you can plan. This means make appointments necessary to obtain current diagnosis or ABA prescriptions and recommendations. Make time. Look at your weekly schedule and ask yourself, where can I schedule ABA therapy in my child's day? 3 to 5 days a week for daily sessions lasting about 3 hours each over a 12-month period. What events are flexible enough to drop or change around in my day if I get a call from an ABA company saying there's a time slot open for my child? Remember, the more flexible you are, the higher the chances your schedule will match the therapist's schedule. When you decide on the weekdays and times you can make available, write it down so you can tell the ABA company when you call to get on a wait list. The planning phase also means that you plan to learn new things while your child gets ABA services. Plan to learn new ways to teach your child. ABA therapy is collaborative, and parent involvement is key to your child's growth. So far, you know to find out what insurance requires of you to get ABA, to find a provider who has a wait list for your area and accepts your insurance, and you know to determine your schedule for getting ABA. When you have all your information ready, you can call to get on the wait list. Call the ABA provider and say, I would like to get on your wait list for my county. They will ask you what insurance you have and if your child has current documentation required to receive ABA. They will gather your child's name, age, location, contact information, and their availability for services during the week. Of course, you will have all this information ready since you followed the steps on this tutorial. The final step is to update. Once you're on a wait list, be sure to check in with your insurance and ABA company you are on the waitlist with at least once every 6 months. Ask them both if any of the requirements for ABA have changed. Make sure you have new documentation they require, such as updated ABA prescriptions or diagnosis. Update the information on your waitlist, such as insurance type, contact information, and schedule changes. While you are waiting for services, there may be some quality workshops you can attend. Please contact the Autism Task Force of Grays Harbor if you're interested in attending meetings or workshops specifically for you. In closing, let's review the main steps for getting ABA. Ask questions. Systems are constantly changing. Don't assume you know. Plan for ABA. Determine your availability and get on a waitlist. Update frequently. At least every 6 months, review your child's diagnosis report and ABA recommendations. Call your insurance and make sure you're up to date on their requirements for ABA. Contact the ABA providers you know about and make sure they have your current information and that you aren't missing any new requirements for ABA services. Time to check your knowledge. Please exit out of this video and select the quiz on step 3.